Some of the features in Motorfest are completely overlooked or underutilized, so in this video I thought it might be helpful to take a look at some of those and explain how to use them. Well, let's go. All right, before we get into it, if you're looking for any of my Motorfest Pro settings, go to militiagamingco.com, click on Motorfest Pro settings from the top, and there you will find all of my pro settings completely up to date. All right, let's get into it, and these are in no particular order, but starting with affix/set bonus and half sets. For experienced players, this will be obvious, but for most newer players, especially players who have never played a crew game before, the part system could be a bit of a mystery. And to me, the affix, set bonus, and half bonuses are some of the most important yet underutilized features. I get quite a few comments and DMs asking about better summit scores, and the parts have a lot to do with it. So starting with the affix, you can have up to 2 affix bonuses for each part on your vehicle. You can re-roll those bonuses using bucks and spare parts. Go to your vehicles, click on a car, and go to upgrade. Then click on the part that you're going to re-roll. Once here, you can click on the crafting button. The button prompt will be a little bit different depending on your platform. Then click recalibrate. And when you select the affix you want to recalibrate, the game gives you 3 options to choose from. Top will always be a new affix, meaning a different bonus. The middle will always be the same affix you already have, but with a new randomized bonus percentage. And the bottom will be the exact same affix you currently have, including the percentage. You basically have this just in case you accidentally re-roll it, or if the percentage you have is currently better than the one that's showing right above it and you'd like to keep it. Now, green parts do not have affix stats, blue parts have 1 affix stat, purple parts have 2 affix stats, and gold parts have 2 affix stats and a set bonus. Now, the set bonuses are not re-rollable, which means the part is defined by its set bonus. These bonuses take effect when you have at least 3 parts on your vehicle with the same set bonus. With 3 parts, you'll get half of the bonus, and with a full 7 parts, you'll get the full bonus. These parts are extremely important to achieving higher summit scores, but most importantly on the summit feats. Make part sets a priority and you will definitely do better. All right, next up, the parts merging system. This system is designed to help you get more legendary parts faster. Basically, every part you earn is valuable, and it's the only guaranteed way to get legendary parts. You can craft higher level parts by combining 3 of the same part, as long as one of those parts is at the maximum perf level. Combining 3 greens will make you a blue, combining 3 blues will make you a purple, 3 purples will make you a legendary. And then of course, if you do 3 legendaries, you get another legendary, but it'll have a random set bonus. To do this, you need to head back to your parts, select a part, and press the crafting button again, and this time go to merge. Here you select the parts you want to merge, you craft it, and then you collect your new upgraded part. Next up, multi-scrapping. Staying on the topic of parts, multi-scrapping is just amazing in the Crew Motorfest. There are 2 different ways to multi-scrap parts. First, you can head to your parts again, then click on the button for multi-scrap and select the types of parts you would like to scrap. Then just scrap them. You can't multi-scrap legendary parts on this screen, so don't worry too much about making a mistake. The second way is in your mailbox. Go to profile, then driver, then mailbox, and click select all, then scrap. Be careful though, this one does allow you to scrap the legendary parts as well as the other rarities. All right, next up is the photo gallery. This one isn't quite as useful as the parts features, but the in-game photo gallery is definitely awesome. Literally every picture you take in-game using the photo mode can be viewed in sort of a slideshow fashion. This is particularly useful if you create content or you like to share your digital pictures on social media, because it keeps everything right here for you and it's completely viewable in the game. Next up is the steering settings. This is definitely an underutilized feature. I think most players get into the game and just start driving without really venturing into the control settings that much. And in most games, that's probably okay, but in Motorfest, I think it's a huge mistake. The game has a built-in dead zone and steering filter to make the cars feel more heavy and realistic. Unfortunately, that means there's a huge steering delay that makes it very hard to drive well. I strongly suggest you go to your steering settings located in the control section of the settings menu and get rid of the dead zone straight away. Just put it all the way to 0. In addition to that, I would recommend increasing your steering sensitivity to at least 70 with a max lock of 60. That should make the cars feel much more connected to the controller inputs that you're doing. Once you're comfortable with that, I would increase the steering sense and max lock by 10 and then drive it around again, and then just keep doing that until you get both of those close to 100, or if you feel like the car is just too twitchy, then stop. Doing this will greatly increase your performance in competitive situations. All right, next is the challenge recommendation box. Now this is very easy to overlook because you can't even really see the challenge unless you're hovering over it. But this challenge recommendation box pops up when you go to start a playlist event. It is great for extra XP and extra money. Notice on this one, it's offering 60,000 bucks and 80,000 XP. What an easy way to gain money and level up your revisit timeline in the main stage. And for what? Finishing this race without using NOS? It's super easy. If you're trying to get money or XP, just don't forget to check out this recommendation box on every playlist event you do. Now, speaking of challenges, the next one is the main stage challenges. The main stage has these on a weekly basis. This is another insane way to level up your 3 reward tracks each week and gain a ton of levels in the main stage, which all get converted into legend points at the end of the month, which again are super useful. Just a quick tip with these challenges, some of them are vehicle specific, like this one that says no speed limit bundle. That means you actually have to have one of the cars in the no speed limit bundle, which is located in the shop under the bundle category. If you already own the cars, the bundle will not show up in the shop, and you may have to look it up, and you can do that with my weekly summit guide. Now this one says XP boost vehicle, which you can look up in your car inventory. The cars that have XP boost will have a little symbol on them that says XP. All right, moving on to audio signatures. Now this feature is purely visual, but I still think it's underutilized and awesome. You can basically change the engine sound of almost any car in the game. It's great because you can make some wacky combinations, like a Volkswagen bus that sounds like an F1 car, or if you want to piss off your Mazda enthusiast, you can turn a rotary into an American V8. Again, this does nothing for your performance, and it doesn't actually swap the engine, so if you watch any videos out there that say engine swap, it's just plain clickbait. It only changes the sound, but it is really cool and you should definitely use it. To find these, you can go to the customization menu in your vehicle inventory and select vanities. If the car you are customizing allows audio signatures, you will see it towards the bottom in there. Now you can earn these in the custom show, in the summits, and mostly in the playlist challenges. All right, moving on to the 2D livery editor mode. This one is quite useful when you're building shapes to save in your inventory. I use the 2D build mode on my logo, and now I can use it on every single livery because I saved it as a shape. But to build it, it was much easier in 2D rather than using all of the lines and the shapes of the cars. To enter 2D mode, while in the livery editor, press the menu button and click 2D mode. Then you can edit the livery and go back to the 3D mode to see it on the car. Like I said, this is great for building shapes or logos or patterns because it also has a grid to guide you. Next up is the rewind in photo mode. This can enable you to get the perfect action shot or allow you to take a picture of an exclusive summit vehicle that isn't even out yet. Basically, anytime you enter photo mode, you can rewind your car back to the perfect frame, which again includes loading out of the summit events. To get that picture of the summit car, just drive the car for a bit inside the summit event, then abort the event and enter free drive. Open the photo mode, then press the rewind button to get the car exactly where you want to get it, including all of the cars that are actually in that summit event, and then just snap your picture. All right, moving on to the next one, the pro settings. Now I talk a lot about pro settings, particularly in my summit guides, but many people I've had conversations with have told me that they don't touch the pro settings at all and they just drive the cars stock. It's okay if you do this, but I think tailoring the car to your driving style will be super beneficial in the long run, especially if it's a car that you use often. Even just adjusting the camber and the anti-roll bars will help the cars feel more responsive, so I highly recommend either learning how to use the pro settings, which I have a full detailed guide here. This is the one you're looking for if you need some good info on it, or you can follow someone like me who tunes cars All of my pro settings are again on my website, militiagamingco.com. Just click on Motorfest Pro Settings from the top. Either way, I recommend finding some pro settings that work for you on each vehicle. All right, moving on to the Fast Fave. This is the hot swap feature, and you can utilize it in basically any free drive situation, including feats and treasure hunting. It's a super nice feature for getting parts for vehicle classes that you just don't want to grind, like drag or boats or planes. The drag race events are boring and no one wants to sit there and repeat those events over and over. So what you can do is just set the drag vehicle as your favorite ground vehicle, and then just use a different car to either look for the treasure boxes and open them with the drag vehicle, or you can do feats like slaloms and then just before the finish line swap to your drag vehicle, and the rewards you get will be for that drag vehicle, not the other car that basically did all of the work. All right, moving on to the car library filtering. This one is pretty simple, but I do get this question quite a bit. They say usually, how do I get my inventory to look like yours, where it's stacked vertically like that with all the categories? The answer is the filters. You can sort the cars by a lot of different things, but the most helpful is probably the sort by vehicle type. It's my favorite sorting option, and then from there you can actually filter it down to the brand or the class, or you can apply multiple filters to find the exact thing you're looking for, like all Dodge vehicles in Street 2, for example, or all electric vehicles. I find that these filters actually come in the most handy when picking cars for grand races, because there's not like a lot of time to pick your cars before the race starts. All right, moving on to the Summit leaderboard. Now, obviously, if you played Summits, you know there's a leaderboard, but there are leaderboards for each event in the Summit, including the feats, and it's super helpful when selecting the correct car for the event. Not every single event has a specific car. Some of them say no restriction. And for those, it's nice to know what the best players are using. And the guys at the top of the leaderboard are extremely good at the game. And usually there's some sort of consensus as to which car is the best for that event. This is great because it takes the guesswork out of it for you. Just head to the Summit board, click on the button for the leaderboard, then make sure you have the all columns selected and click on the button for top. As you can see, the Proto WR1 is the boat of choice for all the best times on this particular event. And lastly, this one is more of just a tip, and it's kind of a problem with the game more than a feature, but you should clean your Ubisoft friends list. So I've been able to confirm there is a direct correlation between the number of friends you have on Ubisoft and the amount of time it takes to load into this game. The more friends you have, the longer it takes to get in and play. In addition to that, the game runs much smoother once you reduce your friends list. I tested this on a couple of accounts and asked friends to do the same. Everyone had the same results: less stutters while racing and a very fast load time to get into the game. Depending on when you watch this though, Ubisoft and Ivory Tower may have fixed it, but it has been a problem since launch and the game is more than a year old, so I don't know, maybe it's still a thing. Anyways, don't forget you can send me a DM on Instagram or Discord if you have any questions about these. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this has helped. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.